Zoe was happy today because she was going to see the magic show with her parents. She was excited about the magic tricks she was going to see. Zoe had heard so much about the magical acts of the magicians from her friends. She talked about it the whole way. Ted was also excited, but not as much as Zoe. They reached the auditorium and sat on their seats. The show was exactly as Zoe had expected it to be. It was super fun because the magician was very funny and showed many tricks Zoe hadn't seen before. Both Ted and Zoe were amazed to see magic happening in front of their eyes. When the show was over, they left the auditorium. But Zoe saw that the magician forgot his glowing wand in a corner. She picked it up and, with her parents' permission, went to the magician to give it back. The magician was very happy with the little girl.
"Thank you, little princess," he said. "Here, take it as a gift from me."
And the magician gave his scarf to Zoe. He said,
"Remember, this is a magic scarf. Wear it and ask it for anything it will give you."
Zoe says, "Wow!" Magician warns her,
"But remember, for every wish you fulfill with this scarf, you'll become smaller by an inch."
Zoe was too excited to have the scarf and thanked the magician. She wanted to learn a few tricks from the magician, but her parents are waiting and she had to leave. She thanked the magician again and left for home. The next day, when nobody was home, Zoe thought about using the scarf. She wore it, closed her eyes, and thought of what to ask. Then she said, "Chocolate!" She opened her eyes and there was a chocolate bar before her. She was happy and finished it. Then she wore the scarf again and asked for chocolates, and it went on. The house was filled with chocolate bars. Suddenly, Zoe realized the bars were growing in size. She turned around and all the things in the house were too big. She realized she had shrunk to the size of a doll. Then she saw her cat coming towards her, but the cat was as big as a tiger to her. She was frightened. She closed her eyes and wished the cat to be in cages. When she opened her eyes, the cat was in the cage but bigger than before. Then she realized she had shrunk further to the size of a mouse. Then she saw a mouse coming towards her. She closed her eyes and wished the mouse to be thrown away very far. When she opened her eyes, the mouse was already thrown out, but she had shrunken to the size of a cockroach. Now there was the fear of cockroaches. She was very worried by this time and didn't know what to do. But her parents came home and she felt relieved. She called her parents, but they couldn't hear her. She shouted as loud as possible, but her voice didn't reach her parents. When her parents reached home, they were surprised to find so many chocolates, but no Zoe around. When they saw the cat in the cage, they freed him of it. They called Zoe to ask about all these, but couldn't find her. It was then that the cat showed them where Zoe was. Her mother saw little Zoe sobbing in a corner. Her father picked her up and asked what happened. Zoe told everything. Zoe and her parents went to the magician and showed him the problem. The magician smiled and said,
"There is no problem. You can tear the scarf in 2 pieces. Leave one piece here with me and throw the other piece in any river far from here. Tomorrow, Zoe will be back to her normal size."
They tore the scarf in 2 pieces. They left one piece with the magician and threw another in a river on their way back home. The next morning, when Zoe woke up, she was her normal size again. She ran outside and hugged her mother. Zoe learned not to be in a hurry and think smartly before doing anything. Once upon a time, there was a wealthy merchant. The merchant had 3 beautiful daughters. One day, the merchant had to go to a far-off place, and he asked his daughters what they wanted on his return. The first and the second daughter asked for lovely dresses, jewelry, and gifts. But the third daughter, whose name was Beauty, said, "Father, I only need a rose plucked by your hands." The merchant bid goodbye to his daughters and left. On his way back, he had to pass through a deep forest. In the forest, he lost his way and reached a castle. It was night already, and the merchant needed a place to sleep, so he went inside the castle. The castle was huge, beautiful, and full of lighting, but there was nobody inside the castle. There was a huge table with delicious food. The merchant was very hungry, and he ate it all. Then the merchant went into the bedroom and slept on a soft and fluffy bed. He woke up the next morning, and still there was nobody there. There was breakfast prepared on the table. He ate his breakfast and was about to leave when he saw a beautiful rose bush growing in the lawn and remembered Beauty's gift. He plucked a red rose from the bush. Suddenly, something sprang out of the bush. It was a big, menacing, and ferocious-looking beast wearing fine silk clothes. The beast roared in anger.
I gave you food, shelter, and a bed to sleep in, and yet you dared to steal from me!
The merchant was frightened and told the beast about Beauty's gift. The beast decided to let him go only if he promised to send Beauty to this castle. The merchant agreed and ran back home. He cried and told his daughters about the beast. Beauty loved her father a lot and agreed to go stay with the beast. At first, Beauty was afraid of the beast, but the beast treated Beauty with a lot of kindness. Slowly, Beauty began to like him. One day, the beast asked Beauty to marry him, but she refused. She was still afraid of his menacing-looking face. Despite the rejection, the beast treated her kindly. During her stay at the castle, Beauty missed her father a lot. The beast gave her a magic mirror and said,
"Look at the mirror and you can see your family. Now you won't feel lonely anymore."
One day, Beauty looked in the mirror and saw that her father was very ill and dying. She went to the beast and pleaded and cried, "Please let me go home. I only want to see my father before he dies." But the beast roared,
"No! You promised you would never leave this castle!"
Saying this, he stormed out of the room. Beauty was very upset. After some time, the beast came to Beauty and said,
"You may go to stay with your father for 7 days, but you must promise to return after that."
Beauty was very happy and agreed. Then she left and went to stay with her father. Her father, on seeing Beauty, felt very happy and soon recovered from his illness. Beauty stayed with her family for 7 days and some more. She forgot about the beast and his castle. But one night she had a terrible nightmare in which she saw the beast was very ill and about to die. She heard the beast crying,
"Beauty, please come back!"
Beauty woke up and went back to the castle because she never meant to hurt the beast. She cried and said, "Please don't die, beast. I love you, and I will live with you forever." It was like magic, and the beast miraculously changed into a handsome prince. The prince said to Beauty,
"I was under a curse all these years and could only be relieved when someone fell in love with me. Only because of your true love, you freed me of the curse."
And then Beauty and the beast were married, and together they lived happily ever after.